Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another video on Modern Warships. I'm The Unknown, and today I'm going to be talking about continuing the series on the best classes of ships to use for the free-to-play and the pay-to-win community and possible builds you can use for beginners and pros. And today's video is going to be on the cruisers. There's not many cruisers to talk about per se, because again, this is just purely based on my opinion. So just keep that in mind. So first off, we're going to go to the best cruisers for beginners. So the first option that comes to mind is the USS Port Royal, because it's only ever gotten buffs since it's been released. When it first came out, it only had 2 cannons and 3 missiles. The auto cannons were non-existent. But now that it got buffed, it now has a 2x missile slot with an extra 2 auto cannons. So, a reason that this thing is so good is because its view range is just very good compared to other cruisers, I guess. Actually, no, never mind. View range has nothing to do with it. It's just very good. It's like decently fast. It has very good health compared to its other free-to-play cruisers. So yeah, and it's also very small. So one thing to note about this cruiser is that it is it's a little bit small and fast, which is good for like long range combat. It means it's going to be harder to snipe as opposed to the the Kirov class cruisers, which we'll mention why these are the worst options. But for now, yeah, the Port Royal is going to be your best bet for beginners along with the Varyag. So a build that I would recommend to have for the free-to-play community is you want a missile that's good for both long range and close range. And the missile that comes to mind would be the Scalp Naval. Now, this is a shop missile, so you do need to be level 25 to be able to buy this missile. Now, if you want a good long-range missile, the Type 40 JHGV is a really good choice. Now, for the pay-to-win community out there, your best bet for any range missiles would be the DF-100. It is just, it's basically like a pay-to-win Zircon in a way. It's too good. As for a cannon, you're going to want something for longer ranges because this cruiser pretty much thrives on long range. So you're going to want to use the Monarch for the pay-to-win community or the free-to-play community. Either the Monarch, the Cupid railgun, or the Edu railgun, both of which got buffed recently and are actually pretty good cannons now. Now, for the pay-to-win community out there, your best cannons are going to be the Emerge Koenig and the Mark 71. These are going to be your best options for cannons. Now, you guys may be wondering why I didn't mention cannons such as the Mark 55. And as much as I like the Mark 55, its reload is just too much for what it is. It's good, but it's not the best option. For a helicopter, it doesn't really matter because you're just going to throw it away anyways. So helicopters, don't pay too much attention to it. For an autocannon, for the free-to-play community, your best bet is going to be the Rapid Fire. Or if you grinded last year's Christmas event and managed to obtain this autocannon for free, then use this autocannon. For the pay-to-win community out there, your best autocannons are going to be either the Seahawk Sigma, or if you're a close-range brawler like me, the CSAN autocannon. As for an air defense, you're going to want, I'm just going to say this right now, so I'm not going to repeat it in the video. Your best air defense combo you can possibly have is a hybrid air defense and a laser, or a missile air defense paired with a laser. Moving on to the RF Varyag, another good cruiser for beginners. This was my very first tier 3 ship ever. I got this ship as a daily award when I was level 12, and since then I used this ship to grind from level 12 to level 15 before I bought the ROKS CVX. Anyways, so your best missiles for this, for beginners in the free-to-play community, again, it's going to be either, you guys want a spam missile for this because it's a 3x slot and you only have one. So your best bet would be missiles like the Indian missile here, the Atmaca, the Itis is also a good choice, Or if you're pay to win and you have it, the Gabriel V is a pretty good choice as well. And if you're also pay to win, you could use the DF100, or the ASN4G is also a pretty good choice. Now, if you're a pro, I recommend using X51s on this. Or if you're pay to win and you're also a pro at the game, high flies would be your best bet as well. Also, pretty much any laser guided missile would be good for this slot. As for a cannon, same thing, something long range, but in this case, you want something that does damage as well, something that has multiple bursts. So in this case, I'm going to recommend the L52 because it has a 3-round burst. It's good for pretty much all ranges. It's pretty much your best choice. As for the free-to-play community out there, your best bet for a grenade launcher is going to be the 726-4A or the A22, which was free many, many times, and now that it can shoot subs, it is now a useful grenade launcher. And if you have it, the RBU 2500 is also going to be your best bet. Moving on to the worst cruisers real quick. The worst possible cruisers y'all could possibly have are the freaking Kirov class cruisers. I don't want to hear it in the comments. These are literally the worst cruisers to use. They're big, they're slow, they're an easy target, they're sitting ducks online, they're usually always the first ones to die, and if they're not the first ones to die, it's because your aim just sucks. So do not even bother using these ships. They're useless, they're trash. I don't care. It's not even a matter of skill issue or not. They're just too slow and too big. They're the easiest targets in a match. Moving on, the CGX for level 20 and above, right? This thing is basically a 2145, but a cruiser. Now, there are differences. When this thing first got released, it was the best cruiser in the game until the 2145 came out, and this thing instantly got overshadowed. It has the same armaments, but instead of having grenade launchers, it has torpedoes. Now, this thing is basically a freaking Port Royal on steroids. So technically, I'm just going to mention this as an honorable mention. Moving on some more. We have any other free-to-play cruisers? Nope, that's it. Okay, so moving on to the pay-to-win cruisers out there, or the cruisers for the pros out there. Y'all already know I'm going to have to mention the Vella Gulf. The Vella Gulf is just one of those ships that's for the Giga Chads out there. If you're a pro and you're very skilled at the game, the Vella Gulf is for you, all right? I'm not even going to mention a build for beginners because beginners, you know, no offense, but y'all are just starting, so don't even touch this ship. Y'all are going to be running 2X51s, Monarch, HJJs, a torpedo of your choice. Helicopter doesn't matter. Highly recommend using a rapid fire or a Seahawk Sigma, and again, use a missile air defense and a laser air defense. It's going to be your best bet. This is literally one of the best cruisers for the pros out there, and it's also free to play. Moving on to some of the pay-to-win cruisers. Again, I'm not going to mention the Battle Pass cruisers. I'm only going to mention free to play as in like stuff you can physically buy like right now with game dollars. So y'all can mention Battle Pass cruisers, but for the sake of this video, I'm only going to mention things you can buy with in-game currencies. Now, moving on to pay-to-win cruisers out there. We have quite a bit of them. The first one I'm going to mention right off the bat is the Vittorio Veneto. Literally one of the most toxic cruisers. Y'all saw my video with it. This thing is nasty, all right? So obviously, if you're a pay-to-win player, you can afford a pay-to-win build. So in this case, I'm using 4 ASN-4Gs. I'm using the RBU 2500 because it's good for pretty much anything. I'm using Spearfish, but if I really wanted to piss submarines off, I would use the Aka torpedo. And then I have 2 Z21s just to add to the extra anti-sub capability. And what makes this ship so good that people mention to me is the air defense and the fact that it has smoke. So this thing is a really good choice. And another honorable mention would go to the French cruiser, which is basically the same thing as the Vittorio, just slightly altered with 2 grenade launchers, and it has a 3X helicopter slot with also with smoke. Now, other pay-to-win cruisers, I'm going to go quick with these. The best pay-to-win cruisers y'all could possibly own is the Cian Lyran and the JS Amagi after its recent buffs, and the Admiral Graf Spee. So the Graf Spee, you're going to want to run an anti-air missile on this thing because its air defense sucks. It is garbage. So for this case, I'm using the HQ-26. As for the JS Amagi, you're going to want some type of brawler type missile because you already have a long range missile right here. So this is going to be your close range missile. In this case, I'm using Zircons. If you don't have Zircons, use the DF100, use Scalp or something. Best grenade launcher is going to be the RBU-2500 because this thing does not have torpedoes to combat subs. So for any ship that doesn't have torpedoes, your best bet is going to be to use the RBU-2500. If you have torpedoes on your ship, use the TRGs. And yeah, in this case, I have the ANSEC, but that's only because I don't use this ship. It's a spare air defense. As for the CN Lyran, your best bet for missiles is going to be if you're a hero or a legendary, use full Zircon or the DF100, or if you really want to be toxic, full DF12. Absolutely toxic. It's very nasty. However, you're not really going to be relying on the missiles too much because the cannon and the grenade launchers do enough damage by themselves. As for an air defense and stuff, you guys already know what to use. And if you're just, you know, super insanely rich, such as myself, not trying to glaze, the Arsenal ship. A lot of you guys hate on this ship because it's such an easy target. However, if you have a really good team, this ship right here can be nasty, especially since its grenade launchers did get buffed to 100% accuracy. The cannon has only ever gotten buffed since the ship's existence. And just 4 missiles. See, this is the ship that I use if I really want to be toxic. And I brawl with this thing as well. So this thing is a very good close range brawler. It is one of the best close range brawlers if it's not being targeted by the entire team. Yeah, so in this case, I'm using full Seahawk Sigma because it is the best autocannon in the game. And then we have JNRG Sea-Wiz. I would use a laser air defense, but in this case, I like hybrid air defenses better. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm not trying to make this video too long. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys agree or disagree with my list of the best free-to-play and pay-to-win cruisers. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out.